OITPC, Joshua Stewart, pipe up north. Well, it's been a busy Christmas week and following weekend and everything, so obviously I didn't get a video out, but here we are again, codger and a corn cob and tobacco tin Tuesday. We'll get right on it. My codger, what I got today is good old Carter Hall. My corn cob, Missouri Meerschaum Diplomat, bent apple diplomat, something like that. And get right into it with the tobacco tin. Today, got Big Ben. Did a little bit of research on this one. I actually couldn't really find much, so I got no real idea on the age. If I were to guess, I would guess 40s, 50s, 30s. Hard to say. There's remnants of a tax stamp, but it's unreadable. I thought it was just dirt on the top at first, but it's dirt on top of the tax stamp that makes it unreadable. Otherwise, I could probably decode it from that. But Big Ben, say I did my obligatory 5 minutes of research, made by Brown and Williams Tobacco Company. Louisville, Kentucky. Now here's where it gets interesting. I mean, I'd heard of Brown and Williams before, but wasn't terribly familiar with any details, so Googled it, and first thing that shows up is Wikipedia, so I look in there. And I go to the history tab. Try to learn a little bit about Brown and Williams and maybe if there was something about when this blend came out. As it turns out, there was 2 paragraphs that were really about the history from, I don't remember when it was. I believe it was in the 1800s when it was founded. Up until the 90s. So over 100 years in 2 paragraphs that didn't really tell you much. The rest of the history was basically about the whole tobacco lawsuits that happened, when was it, back in the 90s, early 2000s, something like that, and how a whistleblower from Brown and Williams was at the middle of it. I'm not gonna really get into the whole lawsuit stuff, and but what struck me as interesting is the Wikipedia, which I should know better. It's very biased in its information. Most of what it told about was how the Brown Williams and company was trying to hide, and successfully did hide, some of the information for decades about the addictiveness of nicotine and how they targeted kids and stuff like that, and how the whistleblower was supposedly harassed by some of the corporate people at Brown and Williams, which may all be true. I mean, but I find it interesting that in the history tab of a 100 and possibly 150-year-old, well, I guess it went out of business in 2004, but it was well over 100 years old at the time. 2 paragraphs actually tell you about the history of the company. So, and I understand that the rest of it is still valid history, but there was 100 years of history that got really glossed over in that whole article. But I suppose that they're gearing it towards the article, the whole Wikipedia thing, is for high school and college kids that are doing research papers on the whole tobacco lawsuit stuff. But anyway, enough of a rant on biased, neutral information. Bright orange tin, backside, it's got the promo deal where you can send off for premiums. It doesn't tell you what they are, but there was apparently a flyer inserted in the tin that told you about it. No, I didn't really do enough research to know if this is a particularly rare or valuable tin, but I know I have seen them around, so it can't be terribly rare. But anyway, so there's our tobacco tin for Codger and a Corn Cob and Tobacco Tin Tuesday. If that's all you're here for, thanks for stopping by. But I've been away for a while and been kind of busy. I think the last time I was on, I shared a little bit about my family's Christmas celebration with my brothers and families and stuff on my side. And then Christmas Eve, let's see, I had the, oh yeah, then on Monday put on a few hundred more miles. So I think between Friday afternoon and Monday evening, I think it was 1,300 miles I put on. That gets old after a while. I've had way too many 1,000-mile weekends this fall. So hopefully they're going to be done for a while. So then, yeah, Monday, or is it Tuesday? I don't remember. Tuesday, I think it was. Monday, I don't remember. It doesn't matter. Went and picked up my father-in-law's Christmas present, which my wife and all her siblings kind of all pitched in together. and got him a chainsaw carved life-size eagle. And so since we were the closest ones to where the carver's studio was, so my wife and I guess volunteered to pick it up because, well, we thought it was about 15 miles from our up north property, but turns out that was just one of the people that sells this stuff. It was 100 miles in a different direction, but fortunately I had a item I won on an auction that was basically on the way, so it wasn't a totally wasted couple 100 miles trip. But then, yeah, then Tuesday was Christmas Eve. Went to candlelight service at church, which we don't too often get to attend our own church on Christmas Eve because we usually go back to either my parents' church, the one that I grew up in, or my wife's parents' church, the one that she grew up in, for our Christmas Eve service. But every once in a while, when it works out, we do like to just stay home for Christmas Eve. So anyway, our church, they have a Christmas Eve meal that they provide. So we decided to attend that. It was pretty good. Look, the church provided the main course, and the rest was potluck. We came home and opened a couple of presents. Played some games. And one of the presents I got, I'll share that with you here. Got myself a new lighter, the Zippo pipe lighter. This is my first pipe lighter, and it's jury's still out on whether I like it better than a regular Zippo. But I have a nice one. Got the wood grain and stuff going on there. I don't use them too often on camera, but I do like the Zippos just because, especially when it's cold out, they'll still work. This is the butane lighters. If you've ever tried to use them in cold weather, you know that they're inconsistent at best. And of course, the bad part about the Zippos is they do seem to evaporate fluid, so sometimes when you need them, they're empty. So I could always go to matches, but then they don't really work in the wind, so. I suppose my dad, when he smoked pipe, he always just used matches. And I remember he would always, had a way where he would light it and protect from the wind when he would light, but so anyway, haven't had the Carter Hall in a while, so it's a nice change of pace to go back to. Just a good old plain old codger. Oh, and before I forget, I got a thank you to a few people. I don't know if I'll call them out by name, but I got a couple of Christmas cards, which was very nice of a few of you. I think this is the first year since we were married that my wife and I did not send out Christmas cards. Just the weeks before Christmas were just too busy. Normally we send out about 75 of them. Thank you, Greg. But we might still send them out, but just as like a New Year's card or something like that. One of the things we want to wait for is until after the daughter graduated college and maybe get a nice family picture of her and her, cap and gown and diploma and stuff. Normally what we do is we'll get one of those cards that you get printed that's got a few pictures over the course of the year. Usually it'll have like one big one and then two smaller ones, and Merry Christmas from us. So if we're going to do a Happy New Year card, it's probably a little late for that too. Maybe we'll have to pick one of the January holidays and send it out for that. Then another subscriber, Ian, he tried some Golden Days of Yore. He didn't care for it, so he sent it to me. And I tried it, and I do kind of like it. It's not at all what I was expecting, but still very good. I think it's got the Catarini in there that I don't retrohale a lot, but when I retrohaled that one, I definitely got some interesting stuff going on, we'll say, that I somewhat enjoyed. So, thank you, Ian. Or Ian, I'm not sure proper pronunciation. I've got a nephew named Ian that's spelled the same way, so please correct me if I'm wrong. But that was greatly appreciated. Thank you very much, Ian. And then this past weekend, we had the Christmas celebration with my wife's family. Now, my wife, their family, they Christmas is a multi-day celebration there. So even though the actual celebration was on Saturday, she went down on Thursday afternoon, because we wanted to do some baking and visiting and stuff. And I was going to come down on Friday evening, then had to bring the dog to the kennel, so if I stick around an extra day, that's one less day to have to pay for the kennel fee and stuff. So on Thursday when they left, I started working on my youngest daughter's car. It was having some transmission issues that I'd shared, and worked on that from, I don't remember what time it was, about 4 o'clock in the afternoon when I started, and wee hours of the morning by the time I got everything buttoned up. And the $50 part that I replaced that I was hoping was the issue, but it was kind of buried deep inside. Turns out that wasn't the issue. So, or I really screwed up something on reassembly. So, we got some probably bigger issues going on with her car. So, we got an appointment to get it into the shop next week, and I'm hoping when they can get their real diagnostic equipment on it, they can maybe find something that I couldn't find with my $30 code reader. It's hopefully going to be a relatively easy fix, and worst case scenario, we're going to have to put a new transmission in. So hopefully it's not that. But I think, like I mentioned in a previous video, we got a good enough deal on the car that if we do need to put a transmission into it, we'll have in the vehicle basically what it would be worth to buy it, normally. So, we had a little discussion on, do we sure you want to fix it or just, sell it like it is? And we came to the conclusion that she's been driving it now for a year, and for the most part really likes the car. So we're going to go ahead and basically spend what the car is worth or we're willing to spend basically what the car is worth to put a new transmission in, because I'm kind of the philosophy that we know what we have, good and the bad, with her current car. So, and there's more good than bad. So we'll just hang on to it. And then there's one other thing I wanted to touch on here too. I should probably make a list of notes of points that I want to discuss, but got a couple more tobaccos in that I'm going to be trying over the next few days, and may or may not make first impressions videos. We'll see. I was going to make a video last week too, but I just got too busy. I was hoping to maybe take a little bit of time, want to take a break during the car repair last Thursday, but I just, you're in it, you want to stay in it, and by the time I was done, it was, like I say, wee hours of the morning. So then, Friday was too busy, just kind of tying up loose ends and all that fun stuff, and didn't get to the in-laws' place until like 11 at night, which I think they were expecting me there by about 7. So, oh well. But and had a good Christmas weekend, Christmas celebration weekend, I guess, with the wife's family, and my in-laws, or my wife's parents, I guess I should say, they go way overboard on buying people gifts. And it's like, we appreciate it, but they don't need to do that. I mean, we already, at least for us adults, I get, going all out for the grandkids, and especially when they're younger. But yeah, they didn't need to. I think they bought me like 3 or 4 gifts that, you know, was appreciated, but not necessary. And it's like they're not swimming in cash or anything themselves either. So they went overboard, but I guess they enjoy it, which I enjoy giving too, but I don't like to go beyond my means in my giving. But now it looks like our Carter haul here is about finished up, and I'd been puffing on for probably 5 or 10 minutes before I started the video. And, oh, I remember the other thing, talking about 5 or 10 minutes. On my way home, when was that? Sunday afternoon, because we drove 2 separate cars, and I had to get back a little bit early to pick up the dog from the kennel, because they closed at, I think, 5:30 or 6, so I had to be here before then to pick him up. And so I put now I don't even remember what it was that I put. Oh, the Louisiana Broken. I put in my K Woody. Now, normally my road blend is either Captain Black Dark or Captain Black Royal, but on the way home I put in a bowl full of that Louisiana Broken, and I got about 1 hour and 45 minutes out of that bowl, which I thought was pretty good. Now that when I'm taking it easy, I can get well over an hour on just about anything. I don't know if the Carter Hall would last over an hour in that bowl, but I thought that was impressive. And maybe one thing here, we'll pose a question of the day here, as long as they're thinking about it. Seems like the blends that are considered by some higher quality, which I would include some of the HU blends in that, I've seemed to notice that they tend to last a lot longer than some of the more run-of-the-mill blends. So just kind of wondering if any of you guys had the similar experience, that, you know, the higher quality blends, that you get a lot more time in the same size bowl as some of the more common stuff. I've noticed that with a couple of the other blends too, that they'll of the HU blends anyway, and even some of the Gowith blends that have lasted quite a long time, and or more than other blends would in the same size bowl. Yeah, it's already done. It doesn't do me any good to puff on it. So anyway, a lot of useless rambling, but thanks for hanging out. It's Joshua Stewart, Pipe Up North. See you again soon. Have a good day.